Very good morning, everyone. In today's class, we are going to learn a very interesting and practical topic that is industrial psychology. We will understand what it means, how it developed, and its scope, and the common problems it deals with. In the second part of the class, we will talk about psychological tests and their characteristics, types, and importance and limitation. By the end of this session, you will understand how psychology helps the organization in selecting the right people, improving their performance, and maintaining a healthy work environment. So, now think about your future workplace, maybe a company, a bank, or even a startup. Have you ever wondered why some people love their job while others feel bored or stressed? Industrial psychology helps us to understand exactly that how people behave at work, how they can be more productive, and how organization can create a happy and efficient work environment. For example, if a company finds that employees are always tired, or industrial psychologists will study their schedule, workload, and environment, and then they suggest changes like flexible timing or better lighting should be in the organization. In simple terms, we can say that industrial psychology is the study of people at work, their behavior, and how we can make work life better for everyone. So now, first of all, let's discuss the index of today's class. First, we are going to discuss the introduction part of industrial psychology concept, and then we studied the development of industrial psychology. After that, we have scope of industrial psychology, major problems of industrial psychology, and after that we have psychological test, characteristics of psychological test. Apart from that, we have types of test as well as importance and limitation of psychological test. So first of all, let's understand the meaning of industrial psychology. So industrial psychology, also called as industrial organizational psychology, is a branch of psychology that studies human behavior in the workplace. It focuses on how people work, interact, and perform in the organization and industrials. As I already told you that industrial psychology is the study of human behavior at work. It helps the organizations understand how employees think, feel, and act so that can improve the productivity, motivation, and job satisfaction. For example, and industrial psychology might study how stress affect the employee performance. For instance, if workers are overloaded or stressed, their productivity might decrease. So the psychologist may suggest better work schedule or stress relief program. Key ideas behind the industrial psychology is this one, and it helps the organization to select the right person for the right job, as well as to train and motivate the employees for the efficiency of organization. If workers feel motivated at the time of work, they can contribute more for the organization growth, and it is very helpful for job satisfaction and efficiency. It also improves the working condition of the organization. Next, we have concept of industrial psychology. So basically, industrial psychology, also called industrial organization psychology, is the scientific study of human behavior at work. It applies the psychological theories and principles to workplace problems such as motivation, leadership, and job satisfaction and productivity. For example, if employees are not motivated to work, an industrial psychologist studies their behavior and find reasons, maybe poor management style, lack of reward, or a stressful work environment, and helps to improve these conditions. In simple terms, we can say that it's about understanding people at work and helping them perform better in the organization. Next, we have development of industrial psychology. Now, how did this field develop? The development of industrial psychology started during the early 20th century, especially during the World War I and II. During that time, psychologists were hired to select the best soldiers and train them effectively. Later, these ideas were used in industries for hiring employees, improving morale, and increasing efficiency. The major contributor in the industrial psychology are these persons. First, we have Hugo, the father of industrial psychology. He wrote the book Psychology and Industrial Efficiency in 1913. Next contributor we have F.W. Taylor. He developed the scientific management to improve productivity. And third, we have Elton Mayo. He is famous for Hawthorne experiment that highlighted the importance of social relations at work. For example, Hawthorne studies showed that when employees feel valued and heard, their productivity increases even without monetary rewards. So it's not necessary that employees feel motivated by giving the monetary reward. No, if they get respect in the organization, they feel motivated in the organization. If they get promoted in the different position, they feel motivated. And if in the organization they get more responsibilities, then they also feel motivated in the organization. Next, we have scope of industrial psychology. The scope of industrial psychology is very broad. It helps the employees as well as organization. So first area we have recruitment and selection, and second area we have training and development, motivation and job satisfaction, performance appraisal, work environment and safety. So let's understand these one by one. First, we have recruitment and selection. So basically, recruitment and selection helps the organization to choose the right candidate for the organization. For example, using aptitude and personality test to select employees. If you want to organize, if you want to join any company, then in the behalf of company, they basically conduct the aptitude test after that interview session for selecting the right candidate for a particular job profile. Next, we have training and development. That means designing program to improve employee skill, and for example, workshop on team work or leadership. And next, we have motivation and job satisfaction. That means understanding what motivates employees, maybe monetary reward or other rewards. For example, incentive program and flexible working hours. Next area we have performance appraisal. That means evaluating employees fairly and systematically. For example, 360-degree feedback. In the organization, for a particular employee, when everyone gives the feedback to the particular employee, maybe the top level, maybe the middle level, and maybe the lower level. So that is called 360-degree feedback system. Next area we have work environment and safety, making workplaces more comfortable and safe. For example, furniture should be good, and better lighting facility should be in the organization, so that employees work comfortably in the organization and they feel safe. So industrial psychology helps in hiring the right people, keeping them happy, productive and safe. Now we have next topic, major problems of industrial psychology. Even though industrial psychology is very useful, in faces some major challenges. So first problem we have individual differences, and second problem we have motivation issues, and third we have communication barrier, and after that we have resistance to change and measuring human behavior. So these are the major problems of industrial psychology. So let's understand one by one each. So first problem, we have individual differences. Every employee is different in ability, attitude and behavior, and their working style is very different from each other. For example, two workers react differently to the same supervisor. Okay, in the if we take an example of university, under one guide there are lots of students, maybe 7 to 8. So every student behave differently with the particular guide, and their working style is very different from each other. Next, we have motivation issues. It's difficult to keep everyone motivated all the time because the motivation level of every person is very different, and some people maybe feel motivated by getting reward financially, and some may feel motivated when they take lots of responsibilities. So this is also the other issue. Some employees may not be satisfied even with the rewards. Next problem, we have communication barrier. Miscommunication lead to misunderstanding. For example, employees misinterpret instruction from management. Next, we have resistance to change. That means employees often resist new method or technology. For example, workers opposing automation. Next, we have measuring human behavior. So basically, measuring human behavior is very difficult. Emotions and attitude can't be measured easily by the person. For example, it's very hard to measure loyalty or job satisfaction accurately. Okay, so in the second part, we have psychological test. So let's understand the concept of psychological test. Now let's move to the psychological test. Psychological testing means using standard tools to measure mental abilities, personality trait and behavior pattern of people. In simple words, these tests help organizations to understand and employ skills, intelligence, interest and emotional stability. Before hiring, companies often use an aptitude test to see if the candidate can handle numbers, language and reasoning tasks effectively. Next, we have characteristics of a good psychological test. So first characteristics, we have reliability, and second we have validity, standardization, objectivity, practicability and validity. So let's understand each and every characteristics with the example. Reliability, that means test gives the consistent result over time. For example, a test showing similar scores when repeated. And next we have validity, the test actually measures what it claims to measure. For example, an IQ test should measure intelligence, not memory. Third, we have standardization, means some conditions and instructions for all. For example, same time limit, questions and environment for all candidate. Next, we have objectivity, free from personal bias or interpretation. For example, scoring done using clear answer keys. Next, we have importance of psychological test. So psychological tests are of different types depending on what they measure. First, we have aptitude test, intelligence test, personality test and interest test, achievement test. Next, we have importance of psychological test. These tests are very important in modern organization. Better recruitment decisions, employer placement, training, need identification, promotion and transfer. And apart from that, we have self understanding. If we talk about the better recruitment decision, that helps to select the right person for the right job. Okay, so next part we have limitation of psychological test. first we have cultural bias, lack of motivation, temporary condition, misuse of test, cost and time. These are the limitation of psychological test. So come to the conclusion. So to conclude today's class, industrial psychology helps us to understand how people behave at work and how to make the workplace more productive and satisfying. Psychological tests are the tool that helps to measure an individual skills, ability and behavior to make better HR decisions. Both of these plays a very important role in modern human resource management. So thank you so much for watching this class. Bye bye, take care.